Christian Women's Health Collective podcast. This month we're focused on rest, and this has been an incredible topic for us to share on this month. Today we are focusing on boundaries and buffers and margins and how we go about creating those so that we can get the proper rest that we need. I want to encourage you to jump into our membership and check out the training, because we just shared so much about what that looks like for us and ways that we have done that. But in this podcast, we're going to share a little bit of that with you to give you a tickler for what's in the membership. All right, here we go.
So yes, okay, so we're going to talk about boundaries, buffers, and margins. And I think what's important is, how do you identify those and what does that look like? Because for everybody, it could mean something different. And I think the important part is, when it comes to rest, like, are you getting enough? Do you even know what that looks like? Do you really pay attention to what rest is or what the quality is for you? Because I did not. Like, I would have said that I was a restful person, actually. And I mean, I sleep 8 hours, so that's good enough, right? But I think it was when, like, I really evaluated my day-to-day and I was like, oh, I'm not getting enough. And then trying to carve out, like, what rest could look like for me or what that meant for me. And I think the biggest change is when I started just really looking at, like, not how much fun I was having or not, but more so, what could I do to change my life today to make it better for tomorrow? Like, how could I do those things? And a lot of that is incorporating rest. And it's changing what I do every day. It's changing how I walk out every day. And so I think if you're not doing that, then just hopping on the membership and joining what we talk about is really kind of cool, because those are some of the things that we go over. And identifying what rest looks like for you, I think, could be even help in your home and in your marriage. So I know that sounds crazy, but think about a no phone weekend, or I don't know, just quality time with your spouse, or what buffers could look like for you. Because like, we do yearly goals, right? We do all these things. We look at how we eat, but do we look at how we nourish our body and give ourselves time to rejuvenate? So I think it's going to be really cool to think about, and I'm excited for you guys to hear what's up next. That's it for me on that.
So I know in the membership training, we talk a lot about how we get rest while we're on vacation. And one of the biggest things for me is just making sure that I don't making sure I don't have a plan the whole time. Like, that to me is getting rest. I don't like the stress of always feeling obligated to do something. And so that's literally just a piece of what we talk about in the membership, is just giving myself and my husband, because we both love to travel, but we also love to really enjoy what we're doing, where we're traveling to and what we're there to see or who we're there to see. And so without having these huge elaborate plans, we allow ourselves to have an opportunity to just, whatever happens, happens. And we have so much more fun doing that. And then, we really stick to our bedtime because we're little baby grandmas and grandpas. But we do really, really try not to over plan our vacations so that we can enjoy it so much more. And I love what you said, Julie, about quality time, because that's so important. So that's our big one.
Yeah, I think creating buffer in your schedule and in your travel days, or at the beginning or ending, having extra time to decompress or to get ready is always important to get back on track.
Well, hey, before we get done with this podcast today, I just want to encourage everyone out there listening right now to jump on into our membership. We don't talk about it enough in this podcast, but we have a $7 a month membership, and you are truly missing out if you're not in it. It's where you get to see all of us behind the scenes, generic conversations that we have. We actually have a bonus video we're putting up this week of a conversation that we had prior to starting this, because we record from the moment we get on until the moment we get off. And, I just really want to put this little blurb in here to help you understand how important that membership is, because that's where you get all of us, not just the podcast version of us. And we have so much really fun and valuable information to share with you there.
Yeah, I think just kind of going off some of the things that both of you guys have said, but recently for me, a lot of resting is being present in the moment and not always thinking about what's next, or what I have to do next, or what's next on the schedule. And I think you guys both were kind of saying the same thing, where you want to rest in the moment and not have to worry about what's on the schedule next, or what's on your phone or what's on your to-do list. You know what I mean? And so just taking a step back and being like, no, I'm going to be fully present in the moment and rest in the moment, or just be present in the moment, that's a really, really good way to rest from anxiety and just overwhelm, especially in present day, when these are, always in our hands and always making us, thinking about the next thing or something else, and not being present with what's going on. For myself, I think I put a lot of pressure on myself to get my to-do list done. But the thing is that everything on my to-do list is always going to be there, and, if the dishes don't get done tonight, is that really the end of the world? No, it's not a world ending thing. Like, if I don't get to until tomorrow night, I'm not going to let my house be a, disaster or condemned or something, but you know what I mean? Like, being reasonable about the tasks and not overwhelming yourself with them. Like, I have a tendency to overwhelm myself with tasks that I think need to get done. Does everybody else care that there's a few extra dishes in the sink? No, they just want to enjoy spending time with me, at this juncture with whatever we're doing, whether we're playing a game or talking or whatever. And if that means getting outside the environment where all the to-do lists and tasks and things are, then do that. I went to lunch with my daughter today, and it was restful and awesome, and we just relaxed, and someone else cooked for us, and it was just, I don't know, out of the ordinary, and it was restful. We didn't look at our phones, and we just chatted about our week, and we were just present in the moment, and that was just like, wow, this is really nice. I need to do this more often, So for me, rest lately has looked like not letting my to-do list control my life.
Well, you just gave my husband ammo with your dirty dishes at night thing, because I'm anal about my dishes being clean. He heard everything you said.
Like, the weeds in my yard have been driving me crazy for like the last month. I finally got some of them pulled today. Was it the end of the world that they got bigger than I wanted? No, I got them all out and it was fine. So it's just realizing that, like, wow, that's not as big a deal as I made it out to be in my mind. And like, that was giving me anxiety. I'm like, why am I letting a few weeds or a few dishes give me anxiety about my life? No, I just need to relax a little bit, less anal.
Yeah.
Unless Jack shows up from Jack and the Beanstalk, you're okay.
Yes.
Yeah, you made me, with the boundaries aspect of it, made me think too about, even taking a rest from those people that you don't want to talk to. So, you have the choice. You don't have to answer that call. And if it, you know, wrecks your rest, you know, because when you're like tense and upset and you don't want to answer that phone call, you got the choice. And so that was one thing that came up for me when you were talking about boundaries, was that, you know, we can make the choice too of whether we are going to entertain somebody or not on the phone or in person, or that event that, you know, we've been invited to that maybe we don't want to go to, and we need to just come back and stay home or rest in that manner. So that's, you know, potentially one way. You know, even going on vacations, same. You know, if you don't want to spend that time with those people, you don't have to. You don't have to go on, or you limit the amount of time if that's why you're going on, you know, that vacation. You may see those people, but then you may go do other things as well and limit that time. So that's one way to create your own rest and create boundaries in that. But I was just also thinking about how we've kind of implemented some rest. My husband and I, every night, we will make some decaf. And now we make decaf and we sit down on the couch, and we spend time talking and we spend time praying. And the phones are not in our hands and the TV is not on. And so that is also, you know, a form of rest, and resting in the Lord, resting in, you know, relationship. So it was just another thought about how we've implemented some rest here.
I love that.
Sheri, I love that so much. And
So
you know what?
lovely.
You know what's funny is I was gonna say the same thing, but so different. I was gonna be like, hey, you know, sometimes you want to schedule some rest with your husband, some rest. So maybe you should go to bed earlier.
There's that too. A different kind of rest.
Rest, yeah. So yeah.
Mhm.
Oh my
But
goodness.
speaking of that, I mean, we talk about going to bed and rest. I mean, there are different marriages, and this is a whole nother conversation, but I do just want to throw it out there. Sometimes what we have to do can keep us from getting rest, you know, whether it's because you are in a situation where your husband wants it all the time, or maybe he never wants it, or whatever it is. There's all kinds of scenarios out there. That's why I said another day, another time, another call. But for me personally, after Zach's accident, doing those things and rest was particularly hard. And so I was just angry all the time. And I have learned that sometimes doing those things, and I'll pray the whole time sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, but you know, just doing those things gave me better rest, because it was almost like getting tension off my body that I didn't even know I had, even though I didn't want to do things. And there's reasons for that. And I think just what I kept hearing, you know, Sheri say is like, you can choose your moment. Is it going to be joyful, or is it not going to be? And I think part of rest is finding where those moments are with balance, you know, and giving yourself choices. But it's also doing the things, or maybe facing the things that make us uptight, or just I don't know, if cooking is something that gives you anxiety, and every day you go home, it's just going to be that burden. So just finding things that have a shift change. And we're going to talk about that. And I just think those are things that are really cool to be thinking about as you're listening. Like, what is it that stands out for you? But yeah, I'm taking notes as all you are talking. I'm like writing down notes for myself.
Should probably all be doing that. All right. Well, we'll close out now. Are you ladies ready? Here we go. Thank you so much for tuning into our podcast. We hope that you enjoyed all these lovely little messages that we gave you. We thank you for tuning in and ask that you help us to reach 1,000 people, women. We are trying to reach 1,000 women this year, and we need your help to do that. So please remember to
like,
Subscribe.
Share.
and hit that notification bell so you know every time we put out a new podcast, and we will see you next week.